What's up? Welcome into your Daily Buckeye Blitz for a Saturday. It's a game day. We're talking picks and predictions here. It's November 11th, 2023, 11/11. We got a lot to get into here, so let's kick it right off. Your big nooner on Fox, the big one. Seen a lot of people picking both sides of this one. I find it very interesting. A lot of Buckeye fans are kind of split down the middle here. Number 3, Michigan, undefeated, going to number 10, Penn State with the one loss. You're welcome. Beaver Stadium in Pennsylvania. Michigan's favored by 5 as of right now. 45.5 point over-under. This one's a huge one. Now, what is going on with Michigan? What isn't going on in Michigan, actually? Not an incredibly impressive rushing performance against Purdue. Kind of shocking last week. What they run for as a team, they ran for 110. Now, JJ did throw for 335, so well done there. But he was still 24 of 37. Good day. I'm just surprised that Purdue was able to hold down this rushing attack. Blake Corum, just 44 yards, did have the 3 touchdowns, but his longest run was 9 yards. Morgan had a 44-yarder. Donovan Edwards, 8 carries, 21 yards. He's really fallen off. They've really been using him like a slot receiver, which is somewhat surprising. I know he's a weapon in the open field, but seems like coming out of the backfield, he's much more productive. Anyway, Roman Wilson led the way in their receiver room. He had 143 yards last week and stuff, but obviously they didn't give up much to Purdue. Purdue doesn't have much to give. They held Purdue to 270 total yards, 1 of 14 on third downs. Not impressive, but Penn State was impressive in their win too. Drew Aller, 250 through the air. Okay. But they held Maryland's rushing game to minus 49 yards. That includes sacks. So Penn State getting it done. They had some turnovers here, a couple fumbles, couple interceptions by Maryland. So Drew Aller, though, is still pretty efficient. He's improved his accuracy from the Ohio State game where he was all over the map. He was 25 of 34, 240 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's a very good day. And Katron Allen was productive on the ground with a 6.5-yard average. Aller had a few rushes there. Singleton, a little bit of chipping in. Lambert Smith, the receiver, 95 yards. So, again, this defense for Penn State is no freaking joke, though. Top rushing defense in the country. So, going back to the spread, I am taking Penn State with the 5 points, the home dog. I'm going Penn State. So take the 5 and the home team. All right, next up, 3:30 on ABC. You got the Canes. Yes, this is a rare appearance for the Miami Hurricanes on this show. 6-3, 2-3 in their conference. They're like 9th in their conference because they don't have divisions. Going to Florida State, so traveling up, let's see, would they take the Turnpike to get there? Or I-95 over to the Turnpike? Yeah, whatever. No, they're probably flying. Anyway, that's a long ways from Miami to Tallahassee, dude. You don't want to drive that. So number 4, Florida State. That's the only reason that we're talking about Miami and Florida State is because the Noles are 9-0, 7-0 in their conference. Did get the win versus LSU to start the season. So this is at Doak Campbell in Tallahassee. Florida State favored by 14, over under of 50.5. Wonder if Jeremiah Smith is going to be at this game. What do you guys think? Probably. He shows up somewhere every weekend collecting checks. But anyway, I have no problem with it. I'm going, I don't want to get too far in the weeds on this game. I think Jordan Travis versus Tyler Van Dyke, not a very even competition. TVD has 11 picks on the year. Yikes. And then you got Benson. Yeah. Miami just lost to NC State. They lost to UNC, Georgia Tech. Pathetic. Yeah, definitely taking the 14. Take that nice even spread there. So take the home team, FSU. Let's go. This is not the FSU Miami games from the 90s, unfortunately. 3:30 on Fox. You got number 18 Utah going to number 5 Washington. Now, this is a good game. This has implications on the CFP. That's the only reason we're talking about it. But Utah is legit. They play good D. They can run the ball. Their quarterback has actually improved, in my opinion. So these guys are 7-2, 4-2 in the Pac-12. Washington, obviously undefeated, 9-0. This is at Husky Stadium in Seattle. Got to keep that in mind. But I'm not sure about this spread. 9.5. The home team, Washington, the Huskies. I like Huskies. I had a dog. When we were kids, we had a dog that was part collie and part husky. This thing was huge, man. And crazy as fuck, obviously. Anyways, Roscoe, that was his name. Roscoe. He ate the side of the garage. We kept him outside. He ate the wooden part of a garage, like the corner. He ate the boards off. Big eater, that guy. Anyway, 9.5. The Huskies are favored by 52.5 over under. So looking at this game, Michael Penix, this guy is putting up like video game numbers, 3,200 yards passing, 26 TDs, does have 7 picks, which is a Michael Penix thing to do. But this rushing game for Utah, I think, is going to control the game somewhat, keep it low scoring. I don't like the over in this case, even though Washington can put up some points. They just beat up on USC, beat them by 10. Stanford, of course, but that was a tight one against Stanford. I was at Stanford. That was a tight one into the 4th, and Stanford made a few stupid decisions. Washington had a tough game against ASU. Didn't see that coming. They barely squeaked by Oregon. They had a 1-score win over Arizona. So Utah, they have one bad loss here to Oregon. You're going to have that. Another one to Oregon State. Not good against the state of Oregon. But Utah, beat USC, smashed ASU last week. So I'm taking Utah with the points. A 9.5 is just too much for me. I think this is maybe a touchdown victory for the Huskies at most. So take the points. Let's go to Ole Miss visiting Georgia. Number 9, Ole Miss, 8-1. 1 loss in the SEC. Georgia undefeated, of course, number 2. This is at Sanford Stadium. Night game, a rare night game in Athens. So it's going to be lit. And people are going to be driving crazy. So watch out. Stay off the highways around there. The line right now is Georgia by 10.5, over under a 58.5. Now, we've seen Olaney here had a tough time against Alabama. Alabama didn't even have a fully formed Jalen Milroe back then, so not feeling great about that. Georgia's defense, I think, is going to contain Jackson Dart and Judkins. So Ole Miss did beat up on A&M, but who doesn't? Beat up on Vanderbilt, Auburn, Arkansas. It's a good win. And then LSU, of course, that's a good win. But those are 1-score victories. Whereas Georgia always gets in a scrape with Missouri. It's always a tough game for them for some reason. But they're beating up on garbage, too. One of the weakest schedules in Power 5 Georgia has. So I'm going to take Lane with the 10.5. You notice I'm going with the points a lot this week. I'm taking Ole Miss, getting the 10.5, going into Georgia. So take the points there too. Next up, we got USC going to Oregon. USC 7-3, 2 losses in the Pac-12. These guys are out of it. do they have any heart left on this team is my question. Going to Oregon, Autzen Stadium, Oregon's favored by 15, over under of 73.5. So expecting a huge defensive output here, right? Oregon just won the one loss to Washington. So shocked by this 73.5. Although if you've seen USC's defense in the last few years, you're not surprised. Obviously, they fired Alex Grinch this week. So there's that. I don't know what USC is playing for. You know, a 3-loss team, 2 losses in conference. You're not going to a championship game. You're not going to the playoffs. You're playing for, or even in it for the Rose Bowl. That's a stretch to me. Caleb Williams, he's a fun quarterback to watch if you don't like a structured offense and guys running routes and timing, precision, things like that. But if you like to watch a quarterback run around, this is your ball game. But I'm not a big Bo Nix fan either. So I think the running game, the defense of Oregon is just too much. USC is definitely uninspired. So I'm taking Oregon with the 15. I know it's a weird number. I think especially being a home game, Nike Stadium, whatever, that's an easy dub. All right. Now to your Buckeyes, your Ohio State Buckeyes, my Ohio State Buckeyes. You got Michigan State Sparty coming in 3-6, 1-5 in the Big Ten. Jesus. Do you guys care anymore? Old Tuck left him in a lurch, trying to tuck his. We won't get into that. Anyways, Buckeyes undefeated, as you know. This is in the shoe. Buckeyes favored by 31.5. That spread has gone up since Sunday. Over under 47.5. I think I'm fine with the over under, but I think this spread is a bit much for me. Michigan State's trying to get things together. They got a quarterback that's played 4 games so far. It's doing okay. I mean, just getting by. They did beat Rutgers. Rutgers beat them, but they did beat, Nebraska last week? Yeah, I believe that's right. Yeah, they beat Nebraska 20-17. So, third down efficiency, 5 of 15 geese. Passing, they were 3 or 14 there. Passing 232. So they're trying to move the ball through the air. Nebraska's defense obviously is going to allow that. Penalties, still a Sparty trademark, 7 for 70 yards. So you got to be disciplined against these guys because they surely are not. But their defense is getting some turnovers here. You got a couple picks on Nebraska's quarterback. So the quarterback for Michigan State, Caton Hauser, 165 yards against Nebraska. Then he's chipping in some rushing yards too. So you got to be on the lookout there. He's not super athletic, but he can carry the ball a little bit. And it looks like their best receiver right now is Montori Foster Jr. You got Tyrell Henry in there. And we talked about Sunday night. A lot of their injuries are on defense. So they're playing a lot of younger dudes. They do have an injury on the O-line. I believe it was a guard or center. But obviously 31.5 is aggressive. Yeah, I don't feel good about the points. Buckeyes win in an easy one, but I think they win by like 4 touchdowns. I don't think it's 31.5. If it were 30, I'd take that. 31.5 is too rich for my blood. So Buckeyes get the easy win, but don't need to cover the 31.5. So, all right, folks, that's all I got for you today. Hope you enjoy the games. Hit me up with your picks. Let me know what you think, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. I have instant reaction Sunday morning-ish. All right, talk to you later. Go Bucks.